Israel's southernmost city, the Red Sea vacation town of Eilat, has been chosen to host the competition in December. It is the 70th anniversary of the pageant. It's one of the most watched beauty contests in the world. It has an estimated audience of over 500 million live viewers in 190 countries and territories, plus hundreds of millions more following on social media. Israeli officials hope the pageant will establish Eilat as a prominent global tourist spot as the fourth COVID wave comes to an end in Israel and around the world, and the hard-hit tourism industry is being revived again around the world. And with us now, Paula Shugarta, the president of the Miss Universe organization. Paula, in town for us. Thank you so much for being with us. Great to have you here in our studios at I-24 News.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I believe, and I did some research into this, that this will be the first time ever in 70 years that the Miss Universe pageant is being held in the Middle East. And you've chosen Israel. Tell me why Israel and why specifically also Eilat?
Well, a lot of reasons. First of all, no pun intended, but actually, for me personally, when I first started at Miss Universe 20 years ago, it was something I wanted to do, but everything just aligned this year. It's our 70th anniversary. This is really one of the first big events coming out of COVID, and there is no country, I think, better in a better place to handle an international group than Israel, and Eilat being a green city, and they certainly have the infrastructure in place and are ready to handle it. So for us, making the decision was really very easy.
Before, COVID was in full swing, Israel hosted several big international events. The Eurovision comes to mind, of course, but we have cities, of course, like Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Eilat, are you trying to draw attention to the beauty of Eilat? Are you trying to put it on the map with this choice?
Absolutely, and that's what we do. We offer global exposure. So the young women that compete and are here, most of them, this will be their first time here, but we have a huge digital footprint. So they will all become global ambassadors. And Eilat, obviously, we are going to show all of Israel, but it's for their tourism, and as they come back into tourism, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And the people that will be coming, it's very easy for us, and I think it'll be a very beautiful television story.
The actual pageant in mid-December, why are you here now in Israel already in October? What are you doing? What kind of preparations are going on?
Oh gosh, this is our first trip in with the group, but people have been working for months, and now it's all starting to come together. For all of the young women that are competing, obviously it's very important to have a cause, and for us this year, the one thing that all of our competitors have said is that they all have a green agenda. Global warming, climate change hits every single one of our contestants. It knows no borders. So they are all going to be here. We're working with the production team now to really talk about our green agenda and what we're going to do to get the message and put a spotlight on what we need to do. So that's what we're here planning.
And you mentioned, the cause is important to these contestants, the agendas for them. Tell me why this is more than a simple global beauty pageant. What really makes this special?
First of all, a little pet peeve, it drives me crazy. When I first came in, if I challenge anyone to meet the women, to know their stories, it's very easy from a distance to say, this is just a beauty event. Well, obviously, Israel had a winner many years ago. She's a lawyer. Rena's someone that represented the country so well. That's never changed. And I think our last year's Miss Universe, Zoe Tunzi from South Africa, was the first black winner. She is very dedicated she worked with the UN to really put a spotlight on gender-based violence. So they all have, I think you're a better person the more you get involved and have a voice. And as an organization, we want the women to have a voice and to stand for something.
And many of these women, highly educated, professional women, the cream of the crop.
Absolutely. Some have run for presidents in their country. We've had, they've always, whatever they want to do, it's to have the confidence to do it and to be leaders. And that's what I want that message to go to young women, that you have a place and you can do whatever. And that's what these women relate to the young girls in their country.
Paula, we have about 500 million live viewers for the actual pageant, then hundreds of millions more on social media, on following along online. What makes this such an attractive event for people around the world to tune in live?
I think everyone, and most of our viewers, I'd say we're predominantly women. We tend to skew towards women. I think it's in this day and age, people relate to it. There's a fun component, but there's a storytelling. We are very unique as opposed to a football match. We are all about where Israel and a lot will actually be part of the story and the experience that these delegates have coming here. So it's. People are compelled because they want to come. I was on the host committee once, and I was shocked 6 months later, the travel, the people that came in.
How many contestants will there be? I mean, how many nations will compete? And do they get the chance themselves to also see part of the country and experience everything that Israel has to offer?
Absolutely. That's my favorite. We're probably, right now, we'll have a final number because the contests are going on right now. But their family, friends, our directors will all be here a week prior, and the majority will stay the weeks after. And so the whole point, everyone will be enjoying and get to see Israel.
And we hope, I mean, this in some ways will also be a celebration, cautiously optimistic, fingers crossed, but experts predict that this wave, this fourth COVID wave coming to an end, Israel expected to reopen for general tourists again to be able to fly in. This, in many ways, can be a celebration of a global event that people can travel to and enjoy.
Absolutely. I'm viewing this as the kickoff. Obviously, we all need to be safe, but this is, I think, the first big for going into 2022 and tourism and opening up again.